Tough one tonight, I know. But the team seemed a little different maybe the last 3 weeks or a month. I don't know if it was the break or whatever, but I don't know, maybe lacking that killer instinct or putting teams away. Do you feel like we were running on fumes at the end? Was there something different the last month than the rest of the season?
I don't know if it's running on fumes, but we did create a ton of chances tonight. In these playoff games, these big games, you gotta capitalize on some of those moments. I think we had a few that we want back, definitely. I feel like we did a pretty good job of limiting their chances, and they didn't get too many, but they put two of them in the back of the net. So again, that's the playoffs, and they're a really good team. So credit to them tonight.
Hey, Aaron. A little bit of a follow to that, and it's not so much looking at tonight's game or necessarily individual games, but just at this team and the way it's playing. And we saw some brilliant stuff from this team this year. And we saw times when you guys were just flowing so well, and it seems like it hasn't been flowing quite the same way over that time span, over 6 weeks, over whatever it is. Wondering, one, if you see that, and two, what's behind it? Whether it's personnel, whether it's the shifting of formations, whether it's that teams are learning to defend against you guys and are defending you a lot lower to where the space isn't there, whatever it might be.
Yeah, I think part of it's the playoffs, right? Like these teams that we're facing in the playoffs are going to give 110%. There's going to be no mental lapses. They're going to be in it for 90 minutes, 120 minutes, whatever it takes, right? They're going to go balls to the walls in these moments. And that's always going to create a tougher game, a tougher environment for us. Instead of, regular season, maybe we're playing teams that are on the playoff line or out of the playoffs or whatever it is, and maybe their minds are in a different spot than ours. But when it gets to the playoffs, these last 4 games, they're always going to be tough. It's never going to be, a cakewalk where we're flying and scoring 4 or 5 goals a game. It's, at least not in my experience, it's always really tough, and they're always a grind.
And lastly, when you guys shifted from the normal 4-3-3 to the 3-4, however you want to call it, 3. I understand, it's about where you want your numbers there, but losing Elie out of midfield, what do you lose when he's not on the field?
When Ilya is not on the field, I think we just lose another leader, right? Another guy that's tactically super smart, knows where to be, knows how to organize a team in certain moments. But again, we give that up and we get other things in other areas, right? So I think instead of personnel, I think it was more the results that determined our formation, and we were getting a ton of good results in that back 5, back 3 formation in a big spell, in a tough spell in the season. And our record was incredible at that time. So I think that's kind of what shifted the change to be more the back 3, back 5 leading into the end of the year.
Aaron, the own goal, what did that do to the energy amongst the group, and how difficult is something like that to get over? You guys had just gotten the goal sort of on the front foot, and then you give something like that up. How difficult is it to recover from that?
I think any goal in that situation, right? It doesn't matter if it's an own goal, if it's a great goal from them, if it's a terrible goal from them. It doesn't really matter. It's like I said, the playoffs. It's such a tough environment. It's such a cagey game, and you could see going out there, it was so tough for us to get that first one. We were limiting them really well in that moment. So it just gave them a lot of belief, a lot of life to tie it up, to kind of bunker in, maybe push for that playoff or extra time moments and see if they can nick one there. So I think it's no different than any other goal that you give up. It just gives a team a little bit of life on the other side that, you want that momentum.
And 103 games over the last 2 seasons. Looking back, and I realize the season ended, 45 minutes ago, but is it a successful run, these 103 games? Do you feel like there's a lot left on the table? How does this all feel after this gauntlet over the last 2 years?
It's a good question. It's tough to answer right now in this moment. I guess just looking at this season alone, right? Making 2 finals, winning a trophy, bringing it back to the club, winning the West, having played, I think, the most games in the Western Conference. I think any team signs up for that season, right? It's a great season, but we're so greedy as footballers, and we always want more, right? And finishing first in the West after playing so many games and so many competitions and 2 finals, it's a huge success. And then to on the other hand, knowing that you got 3 home games to win it all, and you let it go, it's going to leave you wanting more. It's going to leave that bitter taste in your mouth a little bit. So you can look at it on one hand, a great season, getting a trophy. If you bring a trophy home every year, everyone signs up for that again. But we're going to want this one back. We're just, I think it's the way that we are as footballers, the culture of the club. We just want these trophies, and I think we could taste this one. So it's going to be tough.